Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather, weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair. Whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. But they still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
How you doing, Apples? Oh, pretty good. Got Jerry with us. Oh, there's Lola. I didn't know she was coming too. What are we gonna talk about today? Cyber attacks, Jews. You got it, Apples. Well, 3 days of birthday celebrations are over. Got Apples with us. Jerry's coming, which is good because Apples doesn't. She's not very good. She's not catching on. But Jerry seems to like coming with me. And yeah, I have to do another video because, we can't go 3 days without something pretty massive happening. Something that I've kind of been predicting. You know me, a crazy conspiracy theorist. No one's really called me that in a long time. Because I think, first of all, they're kind of like, well, he's kind of just almost always right. Even though you can't see it at the time. So, and definitely no one's been calling me a conspiracy theorist like it's a negative thing or something. Because it's not. But I'm not so much a conspiracy theorist as a conspiracy realist, because there's lots of conspiracies which is just two or more people planning something kind of criminal, which happens all the time. And yeah, so I just thought, okay, I just finished a video. I guess I can relax a little bit now. Very next day, half of Western Europe has a biggest blackout of all time, really.
To the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply.
Ending up in national emergencies in Portugal and Spain, which were the two worst hit. Actually, Spain was the worst. It also affected Italy and Belgium and a few other places. Total blackout. They thought it was going to be off for like a week, and I think it's already starting to come back on, but let's go to the sort of the mainstream sort of conspiracy theories as we try to figure this one out. Oh, it was a rare atmospheric phenomenon behind outage and disruption that could last a week, Portuguese operator says. We've just heard from REN, Portugal's grid operator. It claims the outage that affected Portugal was caused by a fault in the Spanish electricity grid related to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. REN says that due to extreme temperature variations in Spain, there were anomalous oscillations in very high voltage lines. It says this is known as induced atmospheric variation, which in turn led to oscillations which caused synchronization failures between systems that led to successive disturbances across the interconnected European network, it adds. Oh, okay, so it was just caused by extreme temperature variations in Spain. Well, it's May. Let's take a look at the temperatures for the last few weeks in Spain. And it's not like it was minus 40 one day and plus 40 the other day. It was pretty normal May weather in Spain. But that's what the sort of the system, the matrix system is putting out as the reason. And I don't know, but I do know there's lots of very strange things around it. First of all, Satan Claus just resigned or retired last week. And of course, Satan Claus has been warning for a long time.
The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So is that like a parting gift from Satan Claus? Is that his going away present? Is that how they do it at the World Economic Forum? Here's something interesting, and I actually talked about this in a video. It's amazing. It's like Me walking with apples and Jerry is like the news, before the fake news. The real news before the fake news, right, Jerry? Yeah, I'm glad you finally taking me along. I'll take a piss on this, I don't care. I don't care what you're gonna do about it. I'm Jerry. Yeah, they're not gonna do nothing, Jerry. But I did talk about this. It was about a month ago, a little over a month ago. You could say, I don't know, 33 days before this event. The EU government tells the public, slaves, to hold 72 hours of emergency supplies. And yes, you guessed it, that was exactly 33 days before a massive blackout and national emergency in Spain and Portugal. Now, the only confusing thing about that is that the government would never do anything to help anyone. So I'm not sure what happened there. I think it's actually for World War III. But even then, the government would never do anything to help anyone, so I don't know what that was all about, but very interesting, right? 33 days before, they tell everyone to get rations and stuff. There's a massive blackout that still, as I'm doing this video, still is affecting numerous areas and was considered a national emergency for a few days. But you know, Jeff, oh, come on, Jeff. You know, you're always trying to find some little thing. You know, you're right. It could be just that, just like most Western countries, like Germany, the total sort of globalist World Economic Forum type, you can say Jews, you can say Nephilim, these sort of people, have been promoting this renewable energy thing for a long time. You know, the whole global warming, which they had to change to climate change because it's now cooling.
You see, there is something out there which threatens our very existence and may be the end to the human race as we know it. I'm talking, of course, about Man-Bear Pig.
Man-Bear Pig?
And in Europe, they've really gone for it. Germany's gotten rid of, I think, almost all its nuclear reactors, and then it had its pipeline problem, which was the US government blowing it up. No one in Germany got mad at all at the US, causing them massive problems. And they've been doing the same thing in Spain. Like, this article's from April 11th, so like 3 weeks ago. Spain's nuclear shutdown set to test Renewable's success story. Yeah, they're gonna test the success story. Yeah, Spain was cheering for this event 3 years ago. It aged like milk. You know, it's incredible. People, this is basically World War III, but no one can see it. And they just keep taking out everything, and they're destroying all these countries and telling them it's a good thing, and people are under mind control with the television programming and the algorithms on the social media. And they're sitting there, everything's getting destroyed around them, and they're like, well, we're just doing our part to make sure it doesn't get 2 degrees warmer over the next 100 years. You know how bad that would be, especially in a place like the UK or Canada. And interestingly enough, this also came out 6 days, yes, 6 days before the national emergency and countrywide blackout in Spain, which, think about it for a second, like you might be going, Spain, who cares? And I kind of agree with you, but you know, it's a pretty big country. It's got, I don't know, tens of millions of people, I don't know exactly how many. Imagine if the US had a nationwide blackout that lasted like a week, which is what they say it's going to be in parts of Spain. Just imagine what it'd be like in like downtown LA, New York, all these places. It would be almost like a Mad Max movie. It would be insane. Now, Spain's a little different. There, your average person's probably just gonna have a cigarette and drink some wine, and before they know it, the week's over and they get their air conditioning back on and that sort of a thing. But it is interesting that 6 days, just 6 days, you can't make this stuff up. At the very least, you have to say this 3D video game is hilarious, like how this all happens. Because this was the article that was up 6 days before the national emergency biggest blackout of all time in Spain. Spain hits first weekday of 100% renewable power on national grid. Yeah, they finally got there. They had one day that was a weekday where all the energy came from renewable energy. And they're all happy about that. And that was 6 days before no one had any power. You can't make this stuff up. It's too great. How are you not enjoying this video game? I'm giving it 5 stars. Congratulations to Portugal and Spain for achieving net zero today. 0 emissions, 0 electricity, 0 explanations. And by the way, this is just a precursor to what's to come. They're going to be doing this massively, particularly in the West, for not just a few days, not just a few weeks, but for as long as it takes to kill most people. I know it sounds crazy. And of course, if you live off-grid, you live outside of a city, you'll probably be fine, especially if you got some guns. But for people who live in the cities and stuff, when this stuff happens, it's going to get absolutely insane. And then they'll get it down to what they really want, which is 0 carbon life forms. By the way, you're a carbon life form, and they want 0. 0! Sure, Jeff, it could be an atmospheric issue with extreme temperature differences that happen in Spain. Could have been a cyber attack by Satan Klaus. Of course, the original things where it was Iran or Russia promoting the World War III agenda. Yeah, it could have been that they've gotten rid of all their actually reliable power sources in Spain. Yeah, it could be those things. So I know someone sitting there thinking, yeah, Jeff, he'll probably try to pin this one on the Jews. Well, here's an article 3 days before the nationwide national emergency blackout in Spain. Israhell slams Spain for dropping €6.6 million ammunition deal. 3 days before, that article came out saying that Spain was not going to do and it's super tiny, it's nothing. 6.6 million euros, that's like nothing. Notice it's 6.6 too. See? 33, 66, 666. It's always the same stuff. If you got eyes to see and ears to hear. Most people don't see any of it though. But yeah, so Spain kind of said, we're not going to buy 6.6 million bullets off you because you're killing everyone in Gaza for no reason, killing little babies. 3 days later, someone pulled the plug. Keep in mind too that Spain has been pretty outspoken, like the Spanish government and a lot of people in Spain have been pretty outspoken about being against this heinous genocide being done by demons from Israhell. And look what happened. Remember, I think it was less than a year ago. The most insane flood I've ever seen. I've actually only seen anything close to that here in Acapulco when we were hit by a Category 5 weather weapon out of the blue that no one knew was coming. And then a Category 3 that hit twice and created like rivers in the streets. But I've never seen anything close to what happened to a number of cities in Spain less than a year ago, I think. The footage of it it's almost hard to believe it was real.
Ay, 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 ay. Estoy temblando, eh.
So that's interesting. So Spain's been kind of standing up to Israhell. They get hit by a weather weapon because that's clearly not natural. Like what you just saw there is like, that's not natural. Just like all the hurricanes here, which you still have all the effects of. I'm still walking around basically in a hurricane graveyard here from Satan Klaus. Still laughing at them. I don't care. And also remember, it was just like 2 weeks ago that a Spanish company and the CEO of their rail division spoke out against Israhell, and a couple days later, a helicopter came just falling out of the sky, like just for no reason. Still, I don't think they've said there's any reason. It's just falling out of the sky. And by the way, it landed right beside a statue doing like a shh I won't do it too close to my face or someone's going to do a Jeff is Illuminati CIA guy or something. There's a lot of demented people out there. But yeah, remember that? That was the Spanish company's CEO of the rail division right after they spoke out against Israhell. His helicopter goes crashing down. They flooded all these cities in Spain. And then they cut off this tiny 6.6, 33 million euro bullet deal. Like, why is Spain even buying bullets from these Ashkenazis anyway? But it just goes to show you how petty these Jews are when it comes to money. 6.6 million euros, that's nothing to these Jews. These Jews are all billionaires, most of them. They've been running the entire central bank fiat currency money system forever, their whole club. But if you just don't buy like 6 million euros worth of stuff from one of their companies, they try to destroy your entire country, which is what they always do. That's why Jews have been kicked out of 100 countries or 1,000 countries. What is it, 100 countries 1,000 times or 1,000 countries 100 times? It's crazy. Like, imagine if your buddy has gone to 100 different bars all over the world, and every single time they kick him out. Would you go, those bars are anti my buddy? Or would you go, maybe my buddy is doing something pretty bad because they keep kicking him out of everywhere he goes? But no, if you say that, you're anti-Semitic, and they're not even Semites. I can't believe I'm even saying any of this stuff. But yeah, massive power outage in France, Portugal, and Spain. Just a few big headlines in each of these nations last week. Just saying. France, Gaza blockade condemnation, April 27th, the day before. France, alongside Germany and Britain, issued a joint statement condemning Israel's 7-week blockade on Gaza imports as intolerable. Portugal, April 27th, the day before. Portugal joined France, Germany, and Britain in condemning Israel's 7-week blockade on Gaza imports. Spain, on April 25th, 3 days before. There was a cancellation of the arms deal that I just mentioned. They have also condemned Israel for withholding aid to Gaza. All those countries nearly wiped out. Nah, it's all just a big coincidence, right? Ah, Jeff, you're crazy. Oh, it's fine. And all these crazy facts that are obvious if you have a brain and pointing them out. Seriously, like, these people are evil and sick and terrorists, and they're always killing everybody. And no one even talks about it. And if you try to even talk about them, they call you this name that doesn't make any sense. Anti-Semitic. Like, I hate Semitic people. Semitic people are people who speak Hebrew, Arabic, and a bunch of other languages. Why would I hate anyone who speaks a certain language? And they're supposed to be from a certain region in the Middle East, which almost none of these Ashkenazis are from. I don't know. I must be crazy. I guess I've been radicalized by the internet. Stu Peters radicalized me, I guess. Oh, by the way, here's our motorhome. We just finished fixing it from the 2 hurricanes. And then the brakes failed on its way to Anarchapulco going down that hill, which is a big hill. Somehow my wife's brother didn't die. We just got the brakes fixed. See, we're always just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if they took out the brakes. Would I be surprised? No. But, you know, sometimes things just happen. But anyway, this motorhome's been a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I used it once, and all it's done is just cost me money all the time. Right, Jerry? Yeah. You know, stuff like that happens. I don't really pay attention to it. I was sniffing the ground, just checking out what's going on around here. I'm pretty happy to be part of the show, you know? What am I, like 12 years old now or something? And you finally just start talking to me, start taking me out on the show? You know, I get it when it was Lucy. Lucy was the best. Lucy was a star. Well, you know, apples. Come on, man. I have some huge seniority over apples. Bruce trained me too. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jerry. I don't know why I didn't think of you. Well, he's not always around. That's the thing. He's actually my maid's chihuahua. But she's been around a lot lately, so we've had Jerry around lately. But anyway, so this is the most insane terrorist organization ever. And no one talks about them. No one even knows they're doing these things. They're blowing everything up. Like everything, all over the place. They're killing people. They're sending them pagers in the mail, blowing them up. There's little kids in Gaza, which is so sick. They're actually not even allowing food in now, and they haven't for like weeks. So now a lot of these little kids, because more than half of them are little kids, are all just starving to death. But if you listen to the Jews, they'll tell you that the West depends on them.
Every culture that's tried to destroy us has vanished, while the Jewish people has survived. What's kept us going through the centuries? Staying true to what we are. The West is paralyzed before the Islamist death cult that threatens it, because the West is itself gripped by a cultural death wish. The Western culture that stands against the Jews is going down. The West will survive only if it decides to love itself and if it decides to love us, the Jewish people, instead of disdaining us and trying to erase what makes the Jewish people special and what's made the West special too.
And it's kind of true what she's saying. So what she's saying is the West will only survive if you bow down to the Star of Moloch satanic death cult pedophiles that run like the money system and own everything. And it's kind of true, because if you don't, Spain happens to you. Like maybe a lot of people don't realize that Donald Trump might actually be saving a lot of them in the US because he's completely on board with them. So for now, they're not destroying the US too much. What they'll figure out later is that they've got all their other genocide plans. Of course, there's the shots, the chemtrails, the financial monetary system collapse that's coming soon. That they'll end up killed or in camps eventually. But for the moment, because Trump bows down to the most evil people on earth, they're like, okay, we won't kill you all right now. We won't destroy you all right now. And like I said, if you even just try to like mention the truth, just truth. Hey, look, they're killing hundreds of thousands, if not like 1 million at this point, little kids in Palestine who are basically already living in like a prison. And if you just point it out or show people like some photos like, oh, look at this most horrible thing you've ever seen in your life. Here's what they say in their propaganda media, like the New Yorker, rationalizing the horrors of Israel's war in Gaza. The novelist Howard Jacobson has argued that too much press coverage of dead Palestinian children is a new form of blood libel against Jews. You see, if you even point out how evil they are, they say you're bad and you're doing something called blood libel against them for showing all the blood of all the people they're killing. Do you get this yet? Is this starting to sink in a little bit? And it's just sick. Like this, Israelis debate whether newborn babies in Gaza are innocent or should be killed. They're actually having a debate about that. Should we kill all the little newborn babies? And a bunch of people are like, yes, yes, because they're not from our club, our evil, satanic, Moloch worshipping, pedophile club. So of course they're goyim. You just kill them. This is what they think. Like this is what a lot of them think. Not all, but a lot. It's not like people haven't been saying this all throughout history either. Like Henry Ford wrote his book, The International Jew, which you can't find anywhere now, talking all about it. And they just scrubbed that from everywhere. And that was Henry Ford, you know. A lot of people might want to hear what he had to say about that. And he was basically saying all this stuff that I've been talking about. About what these people are like. Not all, but a lot. And it goes all the way back to the so-called founding fathers, which is such a cult thing. But, you know, people like Thomas Jefferson and that, they said a lot of basically anarcho-capitalist / libertarian type things. And for that, I'm like, cool. Yeah, they kind of said they believed in freedom. Now, they're all in the Masons. And I kind of wonder if the Masons used to be a decent group, but it's been totally corrupted, just like everything else in Kali Yuga. But even Thomas Jefferson, here's what he had to say about the Jews. Their idea of God and his attributes are degrading and injurious. Their ethics are not only imperfect, but often irreconcilable with the sound dictates of reason and morality, repulsive and antisocial as respecting other nations. Thomas Jefferson, you anti-Semite. How dare you say that about these kind of people are doing these kind of things. And meanwhile, Donald Trump's got everyone in his whole regime is either Zionists or Jews. And they keep pushing out all this stuff. Remember when people thought, oh, RFK Jr. is going to put everyone in jail to do with the COVID's lethal injections? Well, Trump was one of them. Trump was one of the main sort of spokespeople for it. Did people actually think he was going to do that? No. Because a lot of people that have been brainwashed, they're like, well, not Trump, he got fooled. He just keeps getting fooled. It's so hard. It's not like it's just some guy walking around on the street in Acapulco, the third most dangerous city in the world, with his chihuahuas. Like, I don't know how that guy knows more than Donald Trump with all of his advisors and his intelligence agencies all telling him what's going on, but he just keeps getting fooled. So now you got RFK Jr., and let's see how that's going. Let's go to Wolf in the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf? Just in, Jeff. The Health and Human Services announces plans to pay Moderna $176 million for mRNA flu vaccine lethal injection. More mRNA AI lethal injections coming from Rabbi Shmuley's best friend, RFK Jr. By the way, with Rabbi Shmuley, he's with everybody, right? All these evil people, everyone in the system. He's always there. He's a dildo salesman. And he has a dildo company with his daughter, which is so typical for a lot of these Jews. They're just like immoral, degenerate, evil-ass, demonic, pedophile type people. A lot of them, not all, but a lot. And I didn't even know this, but actually Rabbi Shmuley might have killed Michael Jackson.
I worked to save Michael's life. Candace Owens never met Michael Jackson. I was his rabbi for 2 years. I love him. I missed him. I tried to get him off of drugs. She said that I killed him. And talk about the contempt for people struggling with addiction, that she would say the Jews killed Michael Jackson. And with all due respect, Pierce, you have not said that one of those things, that I'm a murderer, a man who doesn't have a speeding ticket, who doesn't have a parking ticket, is a murderer, and the police have to come and the FBI to protect me. Are you going to say...
Here's what I'm going to say to you, Rabbi Shmuley. Once again, you've just singularly failed to answer my question.
Yeah, remember Michael Jackson did a song where he said, hit me, beat me, kike me. Kike is like a bad word for Jews. I actually think the word Jew should be the bad word for Jews, but anyway. So Michael Jackson actually had a few songs where he talked about the Jews and how they were destroying the music industry and himself. And then Rabbi Shmuley started hanging around with him, and all of a sudden his hair's on fire and he's dead. Anyway, it's just weird. Rabbi Shmuley, like he's picking the new pope right now. He's a Jew. They hate Jesus. Don't worry, it doesn't need to make any sense. It actually all makes perfect sense if you actually know what's going on. But hardly anyone does, and I'm on BitChute, no one listens to me. Anyway, getting back to RFK Jr. So he just announced with his Hell in Human Services that they're going to steal $176 million from people in the US and give it to Moderna for a mRNA flu vaccine. That's interesting, because here's what he said before he got selected to be the HHS secretary.
In a million years, I would not take the flu shot, and I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. They're getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu, because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said that the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for coronavirus.
Here's something interesting. So the Helen Human Services just bought like $250 million worth of flu mRNA lethal injections. And RFK has talked about how he would never in a million years take it. But here's something interesting. He actually did take it before. He took the flu lethal injection, he says, and that's why he talks so weird.
During our time with Kennedy, he shared with us his love of rock and roll music and his frustration battling a rare medical condition which affects his speech.
My voice got turned this way. I got a disease, a neurological injury in 1996 when I was 42 years old. And it's called spasmodic dystonia. And I never knew what happened. The doctors would ask me, did you have a trauma? And then about 3 years ago, I was litigating against the flu vaccine. I was preparing a complaint against all the companies that made flu vaccines, certain kind of flu vaccines. And I had to, for the first time, look at all the list of side effects that are on the manufacturer's inserts. And this disease, spasmodic dystonia, was one of the top injuries.
What a weird happenstance. So he takes the lethal injection, it makes it so he talks all weird and you can barely understand anything he says, which is kind of normal for a lot of these government people. Then he says he'd never take it ever again. And then he gets into the government and he starts buying up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of them to inject to little babies. Yeah, but don't worry, Jeff, it's 5D chess. He's just gotta like lure them in with all this money and let them kill everybody so that they can get them. They're this close. You just got to pay attention to Q on 4chan and you get your update rate from the CIA. Oh man, I can't believe it's been almost 5 years since the COVIDs. Man, what a crazy 5 years that's been. Them, remember when we were all forced to lockdown, social distance, get tested and vaccinated? No. I never did any of that. I should say, if you did, don't feel bad. You can't change the past. Clearly, you either weren't getting these videos before, or you were too under mind control to understand what was going on. So there's nothing to feel bad about. You got fooled. You know the old George W. Bush saying,
there's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Yeah, just don't let them fool you again. And by the way, I just mentioned in our last video that the Tesla machine can get out most of that nanotech and graphene and all the bad stuff in the lethal injections. And by the way, as I pointed out in the last video, this is insane to me. Your average American spends over $10,000 a year just for hell insurance. The Tesla machine is $11,000. If you think about it, a family of four, they're spending like $40,000 a year for medical insurance, which mostly means if they don't feel well, they'll go to a guy in a butcher coat and he'll give them some things that will actually kill them. And they're paying $40,000 a year for it. Just imagine everyone just got a Tesla machine. There'd be no one sick, but they're not going to do that because they're all under mind control. But now that you're not, at least try to find someone who's got a Tesla machine. Dr. Anna Mihalcha has shown just one time putting the Tesla on you seems to take out most, if not all, the graphene and the nanotech. So this is like divine healing stuff. And actually I've got some more stuff related to that. I actually got even crazier stuff I'm even going to talk about in this video that I'm not even sure I want to tell anyone yet, because it's almost too crazy good with the Tesla. But anyway, if you have taken it, you know, the past is the past, you did. And if you inject it into your own kids and stuff, I can only imagine how bad you must feel, especially knowing now. But it's the past. Try to find someone with a Tesla machine, get healed up, and go kill all those guys if you want. If you're a violent type of person. You have every right to do it. I don't, because I don't fall for their stuff, so I actually don't really have a right to go and kill any of these people because they haven't done anything to me. I'm just standing here telling people, it's like, don't listen to them. But anyway, I wonder what else Trump is up to. Let's go to Wolf in the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf?
Yes, Jeff. ICE can now enter your home without a warrant to look for migrants, Department of Justice says.
Yeah, remember, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, both, when I said all this migrant stuff was to bring in the other side of the Jones Plantation to create a police state where you basically have zero rights whatsoever in the eyes of the government. People said I was crazy. They're like, Jeff, in our Constitution, they don't notice it's Constitution, written by con men and upheld by people in Congress who are also con men. It's all bullshit piece of paper. But a lot of people say, oh, well, we got the Constitution, Jeff. Doesn't matter. No one cares about that, obviously. And now they're basically saying they can go into anyone's house, the government, and just do anything they want. Why? Because the migrants. Oh, the migrants. They're so bad. You know, that's why they got to get everyone their real IDs with their yellow star now. You know, because of this migrant problem that just happened. You know, it's just too bad it happened. The government created this migrant problem. Now the government's going to come fix it with their massive tyrannical police state run by AI. Oh, well, I don't care. We're having too good of a time out here. Oh, that's my maid and that's her dog, Jenny. Oh, he's having a good time. So I'd rather be doing that, but I could take off a little time to yell at you people. Try to wake you up. Doesn't work, I know. You just hate me for it. But anyway, I know some of you don't. I do get that feeling. But a lot just hate me. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. By the way, Larken Rose did an awesome video on the Constitution just the other day. I'll put it up on screen. I'll put a link to it down below. It's a great video if you don't understand how all this stuff works. Larken Rose also wrote the Jones Plantation, by the way. Larken Rose also spoke at about 10 Anarchapulcos. He didn't speak last year because he's getting a little tired. I have a feeling we're going to be able to entice him to come to Puerto Vallarta next year, though, because it's actually easier. That was one of the biggest things. He's like, man, it takes me 3 flights to get there. But from where he usually is, it's a direct flight to Puerto Vallarta, so maybe he'll come next year. But anyway, he posted this. In other news, Mango Mussolini is trying to throw posse comitatus out the window by using the damn military for domestic law enforcement. Why do you say he's like a dictator? This is why, you gullible dumbasses. Yeah, right off the White House website. Within 90 days of the date of this order, another executive order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Offense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Insecurity and the heads of all the 3-letter agencies are, as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. That is by definition a martial law police state that Trump just put in. He just, you know, don't need to talk to anyone about it. He's put out like hundreds of executive orders already. And it's not really even him. I just realized we lost Jerry, because Jerry loves our maid. Her name's Salu. They work like every day together. It's the cutest thing. So I lost Jerry and I lost Apples, but we'll go try to find Apples. See if we can find her. But yeah, should we? What are we now? It's almost May. When did Trump's regime get in? January, right? So February, March, April. It's coming up on 4 months. Let's do a little check-in. You know, remember when I was saying all this stuff like 5-6 months ago? How all of this stuff was going to happen, all of it, and actually way worse stuff happened? Let's do a little check-in. Here's Jason Basler of the Free State Project, which is kicked off everywhere, just like everything. 100 days into Trump's second term. Let's examine. 0 arrests, $12 billion to Israhell, 130 executive orders, Real ID Yellow Star enforcement, 750 airstrikes on Yemen, you know, no more wars with Trump, police immunity and militarization expanded, Doge missed 1 trillion savings target by $850 billion. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the $5,000 checks? Oh, they all went to Israhell. Federal spending increased Biden's by $220 billion. Now, I haven't checked that stat, but if that's true, and I wouldn't be surprised. So he said he was going to like cut everything, Doge and all this stuff. And if that's true, Trump's actually spending more than Biden was with his regime. It's everything I said. It's. I know what you're thinking. Jeff, don't you get exhausted or tired of just being so right, like all the time?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
It's like, no, because I have a Tesla machine and I meditate in a plasma bath every day and a hyperbaric chamber for hours. So no, I can keep this up for as long as I need to do it. Oh, and speaking of other things, I didn't even know, by the way, I'm way more interested in the NHL playoffs. And by the way, what a comeback by the Oilers the other night. That was insane. That's why I love NHL playoffs. It was insane. I won't bore you with it if you're not into hockey, but man, what a comeback. So I was more interested in that. But I didn't even notice that there was a selection in Canada, like yesterday, on Monday. I didn't even notice. Castro's gone. They put in Mark Carney, who's a World Economic Forum asset and also a central bankster. He's been the lead central bankster of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. So he just goes wherever he can, just spreading their evil central banking system. And, you know, if you look at Canada, after everything that's happened the last 5 years, almost everyone online was like, we can't take it anymore. We can't take Castro and his government. They're killing us. No one can afford to live. The inflation, the tyranny for a fake virus, trying to poison everyone in Canada. And so they get rid of Castro, and he just bounces off to some gay pride parade somewhere. He's like a total pedophile. He raped one of his kids when he was a junior high school teacher, and they had to pay her off millions of dollars. And so he leaves, and they just put in the central bankster from the World Economic Forum, and all he did was something I still don't understand. I saw a bunch of people saying it. Elbows up, which I still don't even get what that's all about. Oh, and I should mention this too. My dad, who's like glued to the television program, he used to be one of the strongest, most alpha male guys around. Like he was a Canadian champion arm wrestler. He also won numerous golds in tug of war championships. His forearms were literally like Popeyes. He'd drive around on his motorcycle, no helmet, me on the back, drinking a beer, fighting cops. But then he retired and he just sat in front of the television all day, and now he's completely under mind control. He actually wouldn't come to visit me in the last few years because we didn't take the lethal injection. I didn't tell him. And then he said he has cancer now. I'm like, well, that's, yeah. And by the way, my mom died after the swine flu lethal injection, which is a total fraudsy other thing. So both my parents are basically being killed by the system. They don't watch these videos. They think I'm crazy, just like you. It's amazing. But my dad sent me an email just like last week. And I said, we might be going on a trip soon. He said, don't go to the US. It's becoming like Germany in the years before Hitler. And I was like, what? Like, hey, if you want to talk shit about Trump and all that and the Republicans all day, I'm there for it. I'm down all day. But it's becoming like Germany before Hitler came in. First of all, Germany was pretty great. And what Hitler was standing up to was the Jews, and they destroyed them. So it'd actually be a good thing if that's what the US was like. But it's the exact opposite. See, he's mind controlled under the television programming. He's like, yeah, it's just like before Hitler got in Germany. Now with Trump, Trump's the exact opposite. He works for those guys. That's what he's always wearing the little hat. But it just goes to show you how under mind control most of the boomers are in Canada. And so all the boomers after the last 5 years, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. Most people have been wiped out, killed by migrants. They can't afford anything. They've been run over by horses. They've been like beat up if they tried to play ice hockey outdoors a couple years ago. And that actually happened, by the way. And so you'd think, well, they have a chance. Every 5 years in Canada, you get to go into a closet with a shower curtain. There's a little box in there, and it doesn't even have a red donkey or blue elephant. It's just got like red and blue and communist. And communist usually gets quite a few votes, by the way. And they're like, well, I think I'm going to choose the same one we have for the last 15 years, which is what they've had. It's been, I think it's been 20 years. Like, it's just been insane. Just these liberal side has been in there. Not that anything would change if they got the blue side. Pierre Poilievre is basically the exact same thing. There's no choice in Canada. But it's just interesting because they do give them a choice. They're like, hey, we've been destroying you like crazy for like 20 years. Like, look at the GDP growth in Canada. Look all the way down at the bottom of this chart. You see like tons of countries at the top. Ireland, Poland, Turkey, Lithuania up 30%. 40%, 20%, all the way at the bottom. Canada, 1.4% in the last 10 years of growth. And they give them a choice, and they're like, yeah, same thing, eh? Same thing, eh? How's it going, eh? Same thing, eh? I just finished watching the television. I think I'm gonna, pick that red one. Give me that red one again. Let's see how that goes. It's like, holy shit, they're under mind control. And not to mention, you have RFK Jr., who's been to Epstein's Island numerous times. Donald Trump, who used to hang out with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell all the time. They keep saying they're going to release the Epstein files, but they never do. Then you have Mark Carney. He's now the Prime Minister, selected Prime Minister of Canada. Who's one of his best friends? Ghislaine Maxwell. You starting to get it yet? The official Jeffrey Epstein pedophile arrest counter. 0. Epstein's clients aren't in jail. They're busy creating a social credit system for you. You know that, right? No, they don't. They don't. They're under mind control. I haven't talked a lot about Carney because I just don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. But it is interesting to like go through like a book he wrote and see what he used to talk about in his books. Western society is morally rotten and has been corrupted by capitalism. This requires rigid controls of personal freedoms, industry, and corporate funding. This is not a promise to make the lives of ordinary people better, but temporarily worse. This will be a world of severely constrained choice. Less flying, less meat, more inconvenience, and temporarily more poverty. It's just temporary. Assets will be stranded. Gasoline cars will be unsellable, and inefficient properties will be unrentable. Wow, what a beautiful dream. That's right up there with JFK's, I have a dream. I'm going to make it so your life is temporarily poverty. You won't be able to drive your cars. I wonder if he mentioned any of that when he was running in the Canadian Brainwashing Corporation television programming ads that they had out for him. Incredible. Anyway, there's lots of good things going on. I've been talking about this. There's so many good things going on. Here's one kind of good thing, kind of an interesting thing. Apparently, and no one knows for sure, but apparently someone might have hacked or stolen $300 million worth of Bitcoin. And smartly, when they did, they immediately tried to put it all into Monero so no one could find out where it went. Monero likely pumped 50% due to suspected $330 million Bitcoin theft. And that's interesting. I have Monero. I've been talking about Monero for a while. It was up 50% just the other day. Now it's up potentially because of a fraud. Now we don't know that for sure, but that's what a lot of people think. It did seem odd that they just all of a sudden tried to buy hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Monero and like bump the price up 50% in like an hour. But there's a lot of positives to it. For example, I've seen all these. Remember when I used to be on YouTube and talk about crypto back in like 2015 when Bitcoin was $100 and all that? Yeah, that's all been wiped. And now there's all these crypto influencers with like hundreds of thousands or millions of views. I saw a bunch of them talking about this event. And they're basically saying, what's Monero? Like seriously, you don't know. Monero is like the most important crypto there is. Like there's nothing else more important in crypto than Monero. And the top crypto influencers hadn't even heard of it. And I'm reading through all the comments, and a lot of their crypto people that are, watch their content, they hadn't heard of it either. So it's actually quite great for Monero that this happened. A lot of people are like, well, why would you do that? And if they look into it, it's like, oh, because every other crypto is completely trackable and traceable by government and anyone else? It makes perfect sense. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that someone might have, we don't know for sure, done a nefarious act and might have stolen someone's Bitcoin, which is not good. I don't support that at all. But anyone who held Monero profited off it. So you kind of profit off of like bad things happening, but you're profiting from it and you're not doing it. It's kind of cool. But anyway, so this might actually kick off Monero. Like that was like one of the biggest advertising things you could ever do for Monero. Tons of people were asking, what is Monero? Why would they do that? So that's pretty great. And we'll see what happens with Monero now, but I'm still a massive supporter of Monero. And actually our crypto vigilante guys think, one of them, Mr. X, thinks it should be worth 1/3 of the price of Bitcoin based on all kinds of metrics like usage and everything. It's the only thing used on black markets, which is what actually made Bitcoin what it is today. And so he thinks it should be worth about 1/3 of the value. And they both have about 21 million outstanding coins. So Monero, according to him, should be worth about $30,000. It's currently $200, just so you know. And he was in Monero at the very beginning when it was like pennies, because he knew all our guys are OGs. He was in Bitcoin below $1 mining it. And he's now telling you that he thinks Monero is going to tens of thousands of dollars. And he's probably going to be right. People, whoever's left alive, will probably finally realize that they need something like Monero. So that's pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff's going on, like lots of positive stuff. Even though I've been talking about all this stuff, who cares about all this stuff? I've actually got a really interesting story about Europe that I'm going to save for my next video or two, which you'll kind of laugh when I talk about it. But yeah, I don't care about any of this stuff. It's like, none of it's really real. I know some people go, Jeff, it feels real. I know it feels real. So is a dream. What's a dream? Well, I don't know. I think it was created by my own mind. Okay, so what's this? What's this? Yeah, but this seems a little bit more real. How? Seems longer. Really? I've had dreams where it seemed like years. Anyway, you'll get it eventually. Just meditate in a plasma bath and you'll eventually get it. And you can do that, by the way. Oh, and speaking of that, Dr. Anna I always say it wrong. Mahalcha is doing incredible work with the Tesla machine. She's only had it for like a month. She's already shown it takes out the nanotech and the graphene from the vax. She already cured someone's basically bad heart already. And she basically cured someone's cancer in a couple of weeks. She actually sent this over. Symptomatic and objective improvement in stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer with Tesla sessions. Case description, 87-year-old male, so a very old man with metastatic prostate cancer with diffuse metastatic disease through the pelvis and lumbar spine on palliative care. Previously treated with hormone blockers. He had significant pain on intermittent opiate pain medications. He had low energy and had to walk with a cane due to pain. Prostate-specific antigen tumor marker for this cancer. They did it before and he had a marker of 83. Which I presume is really high and shows he really has prostate cancer. He did 6 sessions, so just 6 20-minute sessions over 2 weeks, and his marker went down to 39.4. So more than half of his cancer is gone after 6 sessions. And his pain has improved significantly, and he no longer needs pain medication. He also no longer needs to use a cane for walking and has much higher energy. I know what you're thinking. Jeff, that's clearly placebo effect. Clearly. Every single time with this machine, which just has lights, it's just a light bulb. Every time a placebo effect that cures the thing that's damaging the person. This placebo machine is unbelievable. And there's way more than that. Actually, there's another story. She did it with another cancer person. You won't believe the next one. The next one is actually almost unbelievable. When I saw it, I was like, what? That happened? Yep, this thing's miraculous. And I'm on BitChute. No one knows about it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. There's actually a Jew posting that it's a scam, of course. And there's a crazy ex-CIA or Department of Defense or offense guy or something. He sits in his little room and tries to act like he knows everything. And he's like, yeah, no, it's just, it's all, everything that it does is placebo effect. Which I kind of said before, it's kind of true in a way, because none of this is real. It's all being created with your own mind. But if you do have something bad, or if you know someone who has something bad, and if you have the money, you should definitely get one of these. Tesla.club. And it de-ages you. I used a quantum biofeedback machine. My age is now 30 and 33, which is kind of funny. Max Egan was there when she read it out. I heard it for the first time with Max Egan, and she said my metabolic or tissue age is 33, and I just started laughing. I was like, 33, what are the odds? And no, it's not on purpose, and no, I'm not some inside guy or whatever. I'm on BitChute. I'm just trying to help you, and everyone hates me and says all this stuff, and I don't care, and I keep spending money to try to help you. I lose money on Anarchapulco. I lose money on these videos. But I'm also kind of laughing at you too. That's why I kind of enjoy it. Not necessarily you. You're probably okay. Most people watching this are just idiots. Now, again, it's probably not even most people. It's probably not even that many. It's as usual. It's probably the, that tiny minority that's really loud. That's the kind of people talk about this stuff. And they're usually Jews, or they're basically under mind control and stuff like that. Oh, you can't make this devote. I'm having too good of a time. I should mention, Anarchapulco is going to have a virtual event, a 2-day virtual event with amazing speakers, amazing content coming up at the end of May 31st and June 1st. It's called the Nonconformist Series Freedom Hacking Edition. Unleash your freedom, live it now. Gonna have some awesome speakers. I'll be there. Vit Jedlicka, the president of Liberland. Joel Salatin, he's amazing. He spoke at Anarchapulco this year. Mike Winner of Alpha Vedic. Catherine Bonadine of Anarchapulco. She's doing amazing stuff on homesteading and unschooling and all that kind of stuff. Christopher Gronsky of Destination Freedom. .org, just so you know, and he can tell you how you don't have to pay taxes. It's all a scam, and you actually just have to send him some paperwork. It's all this stuff's easy, but most people just keep they're too under mind control. Anyway, there'll also be Piazza Nico Sif, Ernie Hancock of Freedom's Phoenix, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, who's a Jew but seems okay, Shane Radliff, Marjorie Wildcraft, Baudrey Fraser, Paul Pui of Edge Wallet, Samantha Pilbeam, Tim Pachote, the Liberty Advisor, Michael Cobb of ECI Development, and Tim James. That's all going to be at anarchapulco.com/freedomhacking. It's quite cheap. It's 2 full days. You can get all the recordings. You don't have to sit there the whole 2 days. And you can also support Anarchapulco, which constantly loses money. We just keep trying to help you. Just keep trying to help. I should mention Michael Cobb will be speaking at it. So if you're interested in those Nicaragua properties, get on that. He'll be talking about it. I think they're also doing questions and answers and stuff like that. So it's like a mini 2-day Anarchapulco for you, just tide you over until Liberpolco, which is coming up in September in Serbia and Liberland. And then Anarchapulco coming up in February in Puerto Vallarta. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Yeah, oh yeah, got the big hockey games tonight. Got the Oilers-Kings game 5. It's 2-2 right now. I know most of you don't care, but I don't care. If you don't like this video, you know, look in the notes below and you can ask for your money back. You can also give me a downvote. Couldn't care less. Let's go find apples. I really couldn't care less. Oh, we got someone here. We should finish up with him. ¿Dónde está apples? Adentro. Okay. Vamos a buscar apples. Oh, there you guys are. Jerry, what happened to you? Well, you know, I had to go with my mom. I'm very loyal, you know. Oh, I get it, Jerry. I get it. What about you, Apples? I'm still kind of learning the ropes, I guess. You know, I guess I should get better at this. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, give Jerry some chicken. He did real good. He filled in real good for me. I'll get it one of these days.